You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. Yes, I'm the winner, yeah. 'Cause I'm the winner, yes. Am I awake or am I dreaming? So far gone, I won't look back. And when I move, there ain't no stopping me. You're pushing me up to the top. I saw the clouds looking angry, but then the sky reached my mind. And when I space out, I see the possibilities unfolding the way that I want. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You cut me loose. You make me win in every way. Win in every way. You show me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You show me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. Yes, I'm the winner, yeah.
Well, hello everybody. Oh, I still got my dancing parrot going on. Hold. Let's turn him off for a second. It's not parrot time. It's not dancing parrot time. It's live Q&A time. That's what this is. This broadcast is a live Q&A. I have some questions gathered, but please feel free to post whatever is your burning questions about marketing, digital marketing, live video, gear, tech, streaming, business. Don't care, right? Whatever you want. I'm here to help. My name is Melanie Diane Howe, and I help entrepreneurs and small businesses market themselves, put themselves out there, make better connections by using social media. And specifically, I love live video to do so. So today we are going to do a live Q&A. That's what we're doing. So we are streaming on Facebook, my Facebook page, my business page, Melanie Diane. And we are also streaming over on YouTube. Shout out to the YouTubers, anybody there. My YouTube channel is small, but mighty, and it's fun. And, you know, I want to talk about that a little bit later today, about why we are multicasting. But the other place that I am streaming right now is inside of my private Facebook group, DIY Marketing with Melanie. Shout out to my community members, my DIYers. That is a free community, by the way. If you are not in that community, you can find it over on Facebook. Just search DIY Marketing with Melanie, and you will find it as an open community that is free, and it's open to anyone who wants to learn about marketing themselves and their business, but they're doing it DIY style, meaning they're doing it themselves, right? I am a firm believer that there's a power in learning to do things yourself before you hire things out. And so, there's one of my friends, Derek McLean, posted in there just the other day, and he's like, hey, pros and cons to being a DIY marketer. And the responses were great, but there were multiple people. I was so excited about this, and I was so proud of it, that multiple people said that they loved the empowerment they feel that when they learn how to do something first themselves, they're more knowledgeable about it. So then when they go and they want to hire it out, they know what they're hiring out. And I find this totally true. And I think that it is 100% valuable. So that's why I love do-it-yourself, methods first. So for example, learn how to, create some videos, play around with some stuff with your phone. Learn how to do your own copy first. Get into email marketing. Learn how to do your own email marketing first. And then as you scale and grow and it's time to bring on other people, then one, how to explain it to somebody how you want it done. But at the same time, you know enough about it to know, one, what's good work and what's not so good work, and two, whether or not you're getting screwed. Let me tell you right now, there are people out there that if they know that you know nothing about what you're hiring out, they can take advantage of you. It's sad but true. It happens. And so you can just be a smarter marketer, a smarter outsourcer if you've done it yourself, at least enough to dabble in it and stuff. Now, you don't have to do absolutely everything yourself. I know that there are limitations to some things, and sometimes it does make sense to not even go there. But always empower yourself with knowledge. What can you learn to make yourself just, again, smarter? But the other thing I love about DIY style when it comes to learning things is, one, I can tell you from experience, I am a DIYer. I'm a DIY marketer. 90% of the stuff that I do is self-taught from trying and playing and tinkering. I actually enjoy the process of tinkering. Not everybody does, but it feels so good when you figure out how to do something. So if you were watching the beginning of this live stream and there was that countdown timer, that countdown video with the little countdown clock and all that stuff, I made that myself. Like, I didn't hire that out. I made it myself. Is it like mind-blowing amazing? No, but it's good enough to be used, and it felt great to figure out how to do it and do it myself. Figured out how to add music to it, all those things. So I specialize in applications that help us learn those things so that we can actually create awesome stuff with these apps that make it easy for us. So let me tell you, you might tell yourself that you can't do certain things, or like you'll say, oh, I would never do live video, or oh, I wouldn't do that. No way, that's not me. You totally can. I can tell you that right now. And the DIYers in my community will tell you, yes, you can. They do. So speaking of DIYers, what's up, Annie? Annie's here. She's one of the girls in my DIY community, DIY Marketing with Melanie. She's here. I love that she's here watching. She just did a live video a little bit ago. And we've got Tara all the way from Anchorage, Alaska. Good morning. It is still morning for you, Tara. So good morning to you as well. Okay, so we're going to get started. In fact, these two ladies actually asked a couple questions. So inside of my community, when I do these live Q&As, I will post and say, hey, we're doing a Q&A. We're doing a Q&A here coming up. I got to find, one second. Give me just a hot second. Let me fix something real fast. I'll do these Q&As, and I essentially will post ahead of time that I want to do the Q&A, and I'll say, give me your questions now. This is a strategy, by the way. If you ever want to do a live Q&A, I always recommend that you give yourself, like, post it ahead of time so that people actually have an opportunity to ask questions ahead of time. It gives you a few questions to have out of the gate. And then people usually will ask questions when you're live. In fact, you may do that now. You may post whatever questions you have, regardless of where you're watching, and I will pull that comment up and I will answer your question. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to do my best to point you in the right direction, or I am going to come back to you. I will get back to you on it. So I don't have all the answers, but I certainly have lots of connections, and I can get you there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to pull up these questions. And today, actually, so normally what I've done in the past is I would actually do my Q&As inside my community only, but I just decided I'm going to open up my live Q&As to my Facebook business page as well as my YouTube channel. I am finding that people are all over the place. People have questions all over the place. And I want to be able to, one, reach more people, but two, I also think that one of the things, and I was explaining this inside of my group last night, that because we still have things we're going to do inside the group that if it only happens in the group, you can ask questions outside of live Q&As, and the community comes in. The community is super supportive of one another, and they answer those questions. We do this Friday free-for-all where you're allowed to share and promote whatever you want inside of that post on Fridays. Those things are all still going to happen inside the community, but I'm opening up my live Q&As to not only the community, but also outside of the community for two reasons. One, I just think it's smart and I want to expand my reach. And I really, really enjoy the live Q&As. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I'm also, like I said, getting inquiries outside of the community. I'm finding that there are people that listen to my podcast or are on YouTube and are not on Facebook, or just they don't get into groups, but they have questions too. And so I want to be able to meet these people where they are. And so I want to expand that reach, but also be more accessible. And then the other reason is because one of the things, the feedback I get so often from people in my community is that they'll say, you know what is really great is sometimes I don't know what to ask, or sometimes I'm in the car during your live Q&A and I can't, type in there, but I will have it and I'll listen. And other people say, I don't catch it live, but I watch the replay. And they'll say, I love how, I didn't think of a question, but somebody else asked a question. I'm like, oh, I didn't think to ask that, but they learned so much from the answer. Or somebody might ask a question, for example, about a Facebook group strategy, and they don't have a Facebook group. But then after hearing my answer or talking about it, they're like, well, maybe I should create a Facebook group. And so getting, the community asking these questions, and then when I answer them, they learn from each other's questions. And so the other reason I wanted to open this up is because I want to get more questions. I want to get more questions from even the outside world, from outside of our Facebook community. If you want to join the Facebook community, like I said, you can join it. Just go to search DIY Marketing with Melanie, and you can join that Facebook group. So just search DIY Marketing with Melanie, and it will show up in the groups, and you can join it, answer the questions, and you're in. You'll be in with us. So, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to answer Tara's question. So Tara had this question, and I didn't have the Seymour showing up. Dang it. I made that mistake. Let me open that up, because she asked it in a different thread. So I pulled it up, and I wanted to create it so that you all could see it, so that I could actually have it on screen while I answer it. That is a strategy I firmly believe in. I think that when people can read something and hear something at the same time, they soak it in a little bit better. But let me go back. Let me find where Tara asked this question really quick. Give me uno momento, please, and I will do it. Not there. I need to be in the right place. My internet is being wonky today. I hope it's not affecting my stream. Let's hope it's not. It could be, but hopefully it's not. Okay, cool. Here we go. All right, so let me switch this up real fast. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to actually pull this up on my Facebook screen. Let me drag this over. Okay. You should see Tara's question. Barely. You can barely read that. So she says, I noticed on your Facebook business page that you have a visit group button. Maybe a non-member sees something different, but how do you do that? Does it have something to do with linking your group with your business page, or is it linked a different way? I had my group linked a while back, but I unlinked it because it was giving me some problems, and because someone said it wasn't a good idea to link the group to the business page because it throws off the algorithm. Not sure if that's true. Anyway, just curious. So here is what I will say. You do have to have your group linked to your business page in order to have that show up. So what she's talking about is, let me just pull this up so you guys can see exactly what she's talking about here. I'll pull up my page so you can see. So when you go to my business page, you will actually see a button underneath my cover photo. And, some of you, if you don't have your business page, your Facebook business pages optimized, make sure you have this button turned on. This is something that you can have it say learn more, and you can link to a website. You can link to whatever external site you want to. But you definitely want to make sure that, okay, let me drag this over so you can see what we're talking about here. So this is my Facebook business page. This is the button she's talking about right here. Let me make this a little bigger for you. So this is the button she's talking about right here where it says visit group. And if you click on that group, it's actually going to take you to the DIY Marketing with Melanie group where you can request to join the group. Now, this button can be whatever you want it to be. In fact, I think if I go here, nope, you got to go into your settings, and you would link your group to your business page first, and then it gives you an option to configure your button, and you can choose visit group as an option to configure the button. And so that is what Tara's talking about here. Now, I will say that in regards to whether this is a good strategy or not a bad strategy, she said it was giving her some fits. So Tara, I'm not sure what fits it was giving you, but let's talk about if this is a good strategy or not. Here's what I will say. That call to action button on your Facebook business page, like I said, it can say call. It can say send message, which means if that person clicks it, it's going to send you as a business page a DM. If it's call, then it will pull up a phone number and they can call you. If it's learn more, you can provide any link you want. I'm pretty sure it's still any link you want. So you could literally, if you need to decide what is the hierarchy of your customer's journey. When someone comes and discovers you on Facebook, is your group the next best step for them to get to know you better? Or do you want to send them directly to something else? One of the other buttons is sign up. You can actually, if you're hosting an event, you can actually say sign up and it will take them to that event. Some people, it makes sense to change this button from time to time. So let's say, for example, if you're in active promotion and you're actively promoting a program or you're actively promoting a workshop or a sale or whatever, you want that button at that time probably to configure towards that promotion. If that's what you do, I would suggest you also change the cover photo as well so it aligns with whatever it is you're promoting at the time. But like I said, the answer of should you link the group and should the button say visit group, it depends on, like I said, the hierarchy and the flow of your customer's journey. What is the next best step for the people who arrive on your business page? What do you want them to do next? Here's what people are going to do. They're going to come to your business page because somebody tagged it, referred it, shared it, something, they discovered it. Or maybe they saw you interacting in a Facebook group as your personal profile. They clicked on your personal profile and it says Melanie Diane works at Melanie Diane. So they click on that. It takes them to the business page. There's lots of ways people come and land on your business page. And so the next thing that people are going to do is they're going to take a quick glance at your cover photo, of course, just like a billboard. But the next thing they're going to do is they might scroll down a little bit. They're not going to scroll very far. They're going to scroll down and they're going to want to check out some of the more recent things that you've published. Facebook is actually going to feature some posts that you've made. Typically, they will feature things that were popular. So if you had a live video that you did a long time ago, like when I caught my fish on live video, that one tends to show up for people sometimes. That may show up in some of your featured posts, but if they get as far down to your newsfeed, they're only going to scroll for a minute. They're going to need to be entertained. They're going to need to quickly see what you're about, and then they're going to bounce or they're going to come back. They may come back a couple times. Some people who are already ready and heard about the group and land on your page, they're gonna look at that button, right? That's the next natural step. I will tell you that I do not think very many people click the button up in the cover photo area. I just don't think that's the way that the Facebook user is wired. I think that people are cautious about clicking buttons. I think they're very cautious about clicking things that say sign up, learn more, whatever. They maybe needed to already be nurtured, and they need to know about you a little bit more. They need to be a little further along in that like, know, and trust journey. And they need to say, you know what, I think Melanie's got a program right now. And they go to my page and they're like, there it is, sign up. There's that thing I wanted. Or there's that group she was talking about. There's that group I've heard about. There's that group that she talks about in her live videos sometimes. Visit group, bum, done, enter, pom, pom, pom. That's how it works. So you need to decide if this makes sense. And needs to, again, go back to what is the natural, where do you want them to go? For me, I want people in my community. I don't have active stuff all the time. I don't have active services all the time. My one-on-one services are extremely exclusive. I do not work with people one-on-one. So I am not going to have all this advertised, hey, come work with me, come hire me. Let me be your strategist. Let me be your coach, whatever. That is just not my business operation. I'm very exclusive with who I work with. That's why I have my community and the group. I can work with people as a group. I can help people as a group. The group can help each other. I do promote programs from time to time. And when I promote those programs, that button changes. That button changes to something else. However, people who land cold on my business page are probably not going to sign up for my program. because they don't know me yet. They don't know enough about me. They don't trust me yet. They're not going to give me their money to help them with their live streaming, for example. They need to know me a little bit first. And so for me, the natural place for people to get to know me and to get to know my style and what I'm all about and how I can help and how I can coach you with your marketing is to get into my community, because that's where I do my work. That is where I spend 90% of my time and effort, is inside the community serving all of you. Tara is one of those people in that community. And so that makes sense for me to send people to my group, because that's the next best place for them. The other strategy that works and that can work really well is if you have a lead magnet. So if you have a free checklist or a free ebook or a free video series, and they can opt into that and then they can get on your email list, then it probably makes sense for that to be your button, right? If that's the natural place where you're nurturing people, is maybe in your email, that's where you want to send them. So again, I think it's okay to change the button from time to time. I think it depends on what you're working on and what you're doing. It also, again, depends on where you want to send those cold people, those cold leads, unless you're Annie and you're a button clicker. She says, I'm a button clicker. Well, it's good to know, Annie. We all need a little Annie in our life. All as business people, we want some Annies in our life. Click those buttons, girl. Click them. And so I hope that helps answer the question. I would say if you have a community and you don't have, here's what I would say. Where else are you sending them, right? Or if you're sending them to the website, that could work really well, but maybe people need to get to know you a little bit more before they want to go to your site. I don't know. It depends on your site. Is it optimized? Do you have stuff there? Do you have calls to action where they can subscribe in some way, shape, or form? And subscribe could be subscribe to your podcast. It could be opt into a lead magnet, get on your email list. It could be join your Facebook group. If you go to my business page right now, there are 3 main calls to action. There are 3 main ways for people to get started to learn with me. One is the podcast. One is a freebie. It's a checklist of 50 Facebook Live ideas. And the third is a free e-course that they can check out. And then, of course, if you go below that, then you will see there is a way to join the Facebook community. But when somebody comes into my page, a lot of times the people landing on my page they're already in my group. So that group is there, but I switch that up from time to time. So again, if I want to get opt-ins, get people on my list, then I'm going to send them to my website, because that's the place where I have those calls to action for lead generation. The podcast is a lead generator as well. The podcast drives traffic to the Facebook group. The podcast drives traffic to my lead magnets. So, I always tell people, when you're talking about marketing and I wish I had a whiteboard right now so bad, you guys. I want to draw a picture. So you have a nucleus right here. You have a main thing. You have something that is a target. It is a goal. And your goal could be just sales every single day. Maybe you have a widget and you want to sell that widget every single day. Your goal could also be you have a book. You want to sell that book. Your goal could be in 3 months you're launching an online course. Well, then your goal is to get leads onto your email list so people can learn about you and your online course when it's time to launch. You have a nucleus of an item right here. You have something you're promoting. You have something you're pushing. Your social media and everything else there's little lanes into how they get here. Okay. And so social media is one lane that drives traffic. If you have a podcast, that podcast, you're going to talk about stuff that could drive traffic to, hey, join my Facebook community. And then in your Facebook community, maybe you push people to your lead magnet. There's different lanes and different routes where people get there. So literally it's like a map, and you are like the center of the city and you have all these different routes. As we all know, you can get your GPS and you can type in a destination and it's going to give you multiple ways to get there. One might be a scenic route. One might be highways. One might be county roads. One might be, a whole different way. But what's really important is that you have to understand that those different routes are all going to still get somebody. They can also get somebody to the same place, but they may pass other things on their way, or they may take different routes for different reasons. One person's on a bike, another person's on a car. They're taking different routes. Right? And so it's the same thing. Your marketing efforts and all those things are the same thing. Okay. So that's what we've got for that. I will say that you have to basically just determine what your strategy is, and that will determine what the button is on your Facebook page for sure. All right. So let's go to the next question really quick. All right. Switch. We've got a question from Annie as well. So Annie asked the question, shoot, I did the same thing that I did to Tara, is I did not click through the whole thing. All right, let me get this up. Let me pull this up real fast so that we can make sure that I answered the whole question. All right. Here we go. La la la. Uno momento number 2 this time. Let me get in there, pull up her question so I can read the whole thing. I was apparently multitasking when I was creating these question slides prior to this. Okay, here we go. Annie's question. Here it is. All right, I'm going to read her question fully. She says, I do my weekly live stream for my position at United Spinal, and my main goal is to increase engagement and collaboration with all of the advocates that follow the Advocacy Network page. I am having trouble getting people involved in Q&A. I will be bringing guests starting the week after Thanksgiving, which I hope will help. Do you have any suggestions? I am pumped I will actually get to be at this live session. Well, yes, and you are here, Annie, for sure. So she's having trouble getting people involved in the live Q&A. So let's talk about that. So here's what I would say. I also sometimes find it a little challenging to get people into the live Q&A and asking questions while live. I think a lot of people tend to tune in and listen passively, and they may not necessarily be typing. I will tell you this, the more you do them, I do find that your audience gets more accustomed to it. They get used to it. For example, Tara and Annie, you two both ask questions often in these live Q&As, and you are, like frequent flyers of the live Q&A. And that is probably because you've seen your questions get answered and you're like, ooh, I want to get back to that. You will find that over time, that will help. You will get people over time that will actually start to, they'll just get accustomed to it. They'll get more courageous. People tend to be a little shy. We have lots of people watching this live, and we aren't necessarily getting all of the questions posted. So go ahead and ask questions. Here's what I would say. I always do this. I always say post a place where you can gather those questions ahead of time. You might need to use multiple avenues. You might need to send it in an email. Now, you may not have access to the Advocacy Network's email list, but you can work with them maybe and have them help you. But give people time. You want to give people time. You might have to ask more than once, and you may have to gather them in more than one place. If you're having trouble getting questions from your community, then I would say this. I would say, literally go ahead and come up with some questions of your own that people are wanting to ask that aren't asking. That is definitely something that you could do as well. Let me see here really fast and take care of something. Okay, there we go. We are on YouTube, and it is different over there. I will say that. Okay, so okay. I was distracted by a troll. I'm sorry. Okay. So I would say come up with questions ahead of time. You probably know questions that people are asking because you've had enough conversations with people, right? And so if you don't, then I would say start paying attention, start noting those things. So I will actually, I have a question actually after this question that was not posted ahead of time, and it hasn't been posted live, but it's a question I get a lot, and it's related to the questions that you guys were asking. It's related to the question that Tara asked as well as you, and so I went ahead and added this question myself. There's nothing wrong with you actually saying, hey, today I'm going to answer some common questions that I get, but I will also answer any questions you have live. So start posting them below, post your questions. And that will help. And you may have to remind people throughout the stream to do that. Obviously, as you can see here, I've got this little ticker going across the bottom. You may have prompts like that in there. But I will say sometimes the live Q&As can be challenging at first, but they can increase over time. So one, gather those questions earlier. So give people an opportunity to post their questions to you ahead of time, and do it in multiple ways. Try sending an email, try going out to a group and saying, hey, I'm doing a live Q&A tomorrow over on my page or over on this page, and I want to know what questions do you have about XYZ, and just grab those questions. You don't have to say where they came from or who they were, but that could be a way. The other thing I will say that I find that tends to help as well is if I narrow in on a topic that actually will help the questions as well. So if I narrow in on a topic, then I will get more questions sometimes, especially if it's a topic that I know is popular. So for example, if I were to come in and say, what questions do you have about webcams, cameras, and microphones for live streaming? That would probably generate some questions versus when I kind of say, ask me anything, which I like the ask me anything because you can ask me anything, but I do find that tends to work a little bit better. So the only thing about that is I sometimes worry that people think they can't ask. I worry that they think they can't ask anything else when they can. So that's the other thing that you got to be careful about with that. So be specific, try that, and just gather questions from somewhere else, make up questions, do this, put them on a slide, put them in the banner. I know that Annie, you use StreamYard as well. So put them in a banner below and then try that. And, at first you may not get tons of engagement. That may not be the case, but you will get it over time. I definitely like the strategy of bringing on guests. I think anytime I've had guests on, I always get more engagement and I tend to get more people watching live. And I think it goes back to, I think it draws interest. People are like, oh, who's she talking to? Who is this person? And it draws interest and they want to, especially if it's somebody that your audience knows, or if it's somebody that's maybe one of them, then they're going to care. They're going to want to pay attention. So that is definitely something that you can try as well. I think the interview thing will work out really well. But I'm excited that you're doing that. I'm excited that you're going to be bringing on guests for your lives and your live Q&As. Okay, so I'm going to go to this next question because it is one that I get quite a bit. Why live stream in a Facebook group? So this question's fun because I'm actually working on a draft for a blog post for a third party. So it's not for my site. It's actually for, I don't really want to say anything because for all I know, my blog post isn't going to get approved. I don't know. I hope it does. But I'm working on this really awesome blog post and it's about live streaming in Facebook groups. And the reason I came up with the topic was because I get asked this. People say, well, one, people are like, why do I need a Facebook group? And two, people will say, well, why should I do live streams on my business page or in a Facebook group or whatever? And here's why I like live streaming in a Facebook group. I talked about earlier how when you get people in your Facebook group, that is a way for people to get to know you depending on your group. I hope that you're active in your group. And by being inside of a community, it's like being inside a closed room or just in a conference room versus out in the masses in the public. And so you'll find that your users and people will tend to be a little bit more engaged or talkative or open inside the community. One, because they know that people in that community they either are of like-minded spirits or there's a common theme, a common interest there. That's the definition of community. And so when you're out in the crowd, you don't know if someone cares about the same things you care about. So sometimes people are a little bit more bashful. Whereas if you're in a room and you're all passionate about the same things, or you all have the same goals, then you're more likely to network and interact with each other. So I think that live video and live streaming in a group, it only accentuates that process. I'm a firm believer that live video speeds up the like, know, and trust factor. So if someone can watch a video of you that you pre-recorded, great. But if somebody can watch you live, then there's a different type of trust that happens. There's an authenticity about it. Because for me, I was like, oh crap, I forgot to click on the thing. Hold on a second. You're like, oh, she's human. She forgot to do something or whatever. It's fine. It's fine. You know what I mean? And if people drop off because of that, then they're not my people because that crap happens all the time. Come on. You know what I mean? We're humans. And so I do think that live video makes you human. The other thing about live video is that anyone that shows up to your live video can talk to you and you can answer their questions. You can literally be like, oh, okay, cool. You're a button clicker. Now I know that Annie is a button clicker. I just got to know that a little bit more about Annie. And I know Annie because she's an active member of my community. She shows up. So I'm building a relationship with Annie. Tara, who has recently joined the community from YouTube, she found a video of mine on YouTube. She has been an active member. I'm getting to know Tara more and more and more. Tara's trusting me. She sees me on live video. It's more than just some post with text and a picture. And so it's like it's the next best thing to a real conversation without actually having a one-on-one conversation with someone, whether it be virtually or on the phone or whatever. This is why I'm a firm believer in audio messages inside the DMs. This is why I'm a firm believer of applications that let you record a video and send an email. If you're on my email list, you know that I send videos. I don't really type long emails. I send videos because it's just, one, easier for me, and two, I actually think that people enjoy listening to my voice, seeing my face, seeing my interaction. and it builds trust faster. And that's why I like it. This is why I also like, I think live streaming inside of a Facebook group is all of that stuff on steroids, because they're in a community where they want to get to know you. They're in a community where they feel more comfortable. They're in a community where there's more engagement. The algorithms are helping you out in that community. So by doing live video in the community, it's like everything else I just described, but on steroids. You can do live videos on your page too, which I highly recommend you do. But the live videos in your community is like the steroid version of it all, because the funnel is people find you on your page, but then you want them to join your community, and that's where the sweet stuff happens. And so that's a huge, huge, huge thing. So, I 100% am a firm believer that if you want to really actually make connections online, which is how we're doing business these days, then you need to be using live video, but you also should be looking at a Facebook community and how you can be creating content inside that Facebook community for sure. Okay, so a comment from earlier. So this is one of my users inside my Facebook group. And so one thing that's really cool is that Facebook protects the privacy of your users in that group. So if you do happen to do what I'm doing today, which is multicasting, so I'm streaming to inside my Facebook group, but also to YouTube and my business page, if this person doesn't click the authentication link that says, yeah, you can show my name and my face, then it will just show up as Facebook user. So usually that's an accident. Most people don't mind or don't care. A lot of times it's just they didn't click the link, or their cache refreshed and they have to click the link again. So, but this person says, I've noticed homesteading YouTubers have Facebook community groups. Yeah. So even if somebody is, on YouTube, or they're active on YouTube, or they have a channel that they're a YouTuber, right? That's where the majority of their content is. They still have a community, because YouTube communities are different than Facebook communities, and Facebook communities are just so great. And so they may share their YouTube videos inside their community, but I hope they're going live inside their community or doing that too. But so there you go. So communities are huge for sure. So maybe the same person, they said some people have a paywall where people have to pay each month just to join the group. The payment is handled outside of Facebook. This is also true. There are now ways you can collect payments inside Facebook if your group qualifies for that. So you can actually have paid memberships where the livelihood of the membership actually lives inside of the community, inside of the Facebook group. And so that's actually pretty common as well. I am part of a couple of those where you have to pay for a membership, where it's like a monthly membership or an annual membership, or there's even some that are just like really, really, really little. So Facebook actually has, again, you have to have this feature available to you from Facebook, but you can monetize your page and you can create an exclusive community, and people can pay right there inside Facebook. And it's like usually like nothing. It's like $5 a month or something. And it will, it's like through your Apple ID and everything. It's like so easy. And it's one of the subscriptions that way. And that gives them, you can actually create content, and you can then select whether or not you want that to go to everyone, or whether you just want it to go to your paid subscribers. So you can actually do this all inside Facebook too. Now but a lot of people, this person's correct. You pay outside, and then because you paid, you then get access to a community where it's like a membership, and it could be hot seats. It could be, some people don't do what I do. I do live Q&As all the time. Some people don't do live Q&As in their community, in their free groups. They only do them in their paid groups. So it just depends on the strategy of you and your business and where you are in your business. Getting started, I'm going live all the time doing Q&As, but if I have a membership down the road, my Q&As in my free group are probably going to reduce or go away, because why would people join a paid group if I'm doing the same thing in a free group? It doesn't make any sense. But as you become busier and as your business grows, your availability reduces. And so you've got to get to a point where you monetize that availability. It's no different than, when somebody who is an attorney just getting started, their rate is one thing, but then as they become very busy and very popular, their rate goes up, right? Because their time is their product. Their time is their inventory. And so as a business owner, sometimes it's the same thing, and that happens for sure. So yeah. Bradley says, Bradley's a YouTuber. He's got a YouTube channel. I know that, one that's actually pretty awesome. He says there should be a website where it shows the current monetization thresholds for all social media sites. There may be out there somewhere. I have not looked for one. That would be interesting. It'd be interesting to know that. And of course, YouTube, also they have paid memberships too. You can have paid members for your content as well. And I don't know a ton about that with YouTube, but I do know that there are memberships that you can. It's like a community. It's different. It's a different environment than what we have with Facebook communities, but it certainly is another way to make money, another way to monetize your education and the content that you're creating outside of course, ads and all those things. So for sure. All right, you guys, I am going to wrap this up. I don't see any other questions in the comments. And so we're already at 2:15, and I know that I have a hard stop at 2:30 today. You guys, guess what? My kid is home. I got the call today, the quarantine call, contact tracing. She's home till the 30th. So she's up there hanging out. She had all her schoolwork done already. We're there. We hit it. We did it. I was like waiting for the call. I'm like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Got the call. Had to go get her. So I don't want to be down here just to be down here. I want to make sure I'm taking care of her, and I've got a meeting at 2:30. But you guys, thanks for joining in. Again, if you are here and you're new to my live streams and my live Q&As, if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, or somebody who's aspiring to be a business owner, or just you want to learn more about social media, come on over and join us in the Facebook group, because that is where we have all the fun. That's where we do stuff. That's where you can ask questions. That's where I experiment with things and show people stuff as I do it, like the party parrot that I showed you guys by accident in the beginning. Actually, I pulled the party parrot up before I started my live stream on purpose, but the other one is the Carlton. We got Carlton here. Sometimes we pull up Carlton, but when we have things to celebrate, we celebrate with the party parrot. That's for sure. That's the new thing that we've done. So, all right, y'all, I'm out of here. I'm going to get on with my day. Hope you have a great day as well. And for all of those that tuned in today live, I really appreciate you being here. So I will see the rest of you next time. And if not, I hope to see you inside of the Facebook community, DIY Marketing with Melanie, where we have lots of fun. So, all right, you guys, have a good rest of your day.